What's up, everybody? Scrambles here, bringing you my latest gear review, and today we're going to talk about distortion boxes. Now, which distortion box are we going to talk about in particular? Today it's going to be the MXR Prime Distortion. Now, before we get started talking about this little guy, there's one thing we need to address. If you're watching this video, you're most likely here because you're not happy with the distortion you're getting from whatever amp it is you use. More than likely, that means that you're using a cheaper amp that just doesn't have the balls to compete. And I hate to break it to you, but this little guy or any other distortion box like it is not the answer to your problems. If you're not happy with the sound you're getting from your amp, unfortunately, the only thing you can do is buy a better amp. And believe me, I've gone through the struggle for years. I spent 2 or 3 years trying to get a killer tone out of this Marshall right here that is behind me for a very good reason. And then I finally splurged on my Blackstar with the EVH cabinet, and honestly, I've never been happier. Everything sounds great through it. So with that being said, let's get started and take a look at this, because although it might not solve your problems of having a bad amp with a bad distortion, it certainly has its uses. So let's get to it. All right, first things first, let's take a look at the knobs and functions on this pedal. First, we're going to have an output knob, a tone knob, a distortion knob, and obviously your on-on switch. It's got a single input and a single output, as well as a jack for a 9-volt power supply. All right, now let's see what kind of sounds we can get out of this thing. We're going to start with the tone and the distortion, basically all the way down, and slowly work them up as we work through a different couple riffs, and you guys can get a chance to see what it sounds like. Alright, so all in all, final thoughts on this little guy? Unfortunately, MXR, it's not the distortion for me. But that's not because this is a bad distortion pedal by any means. What it is there's a lack of definition in the high notes when you're strumming a chord out while this is on, and there's also a lack of low-end tightness that I'm just looking for because I play metal, and that's what we like. Sorry. That being said, MXR does not make a bad distortion. I do have this little guy. It's an MXR Distortion Plus, and I adore it. It is one of my favorite distortions of all time. But back to this little guy. All right. So as you can see, it's not exactly the greatest metal distortion, but that doesn't mean it's not without its upsides. It does do some, because you can get a real nice like honky tonk sound out of it, as you heard, and it also does grunge very well. So if you're looking for an older, not an older, fuzzier type distortion, or just a fuzzier type distortion to play these fuzzier type music, this is the guy for you. You need this MXR distortion box. Hope you've all enjoyed what's come to be my second gear review, and please let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to follow me on whatever social media it is you use. I promise I'm there. The links will be in the description. If I'm not on a social media platform you use, be sure to leave a comment, and I will get on there. Thank you again, and stay classy, YouTube.